Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Woman's Splain. Today we have two very special guests, Kiki and Elan, co-founders of Sourmilk, here for a continuation of, honestly, our first food and beverage founder ever to be on our pod. Kiki, originally speaking about where Sourmilk was 9 months ago to today. So really excited for this episode, and pass it off to a little intro, and we'll kind of jump right in.
Awesome. Thank you for having us. It's really fun to be here round two.
Oh,
and it's crazy what has happened in the past 9 months.
We had a different name.
We had a different name.
We'll talk about that.
This was my first podcast ever. I was so nervous coming into this studio, this very legit feeling studio. And now we've done a lot of podcasts and we've had a name change and we sold a lot of yogurt.
Yep.
So yeah. I'm Kiki, by the way, and I am one of the co-founders of Sourmilk. This is my best friend, Elan, and we've been working on it together. I'll let her give a little bit of a longer intro on what it is.
Yeah. I'm Elan, and Kiki and I started working on Sourmilk a little over a year ago. We went full-time in January, so it's been since we've been full-time on it. But the idea came in spring of 2024. We really started to think about this. And really the quick intro into Sourmilk is that I'd actually been making yogurt for 3 years before even this idea came to be. And I started making yogurt after realizing that I had a bunch of gut health issues that I was going through. As we've learned, 2/3 of Americans also have digestive issues that they're dealing with, and probably a lot more that just have gone undiagnosed. And what I realized is that none of the yogurt that I was eating was actually doing anything for my microbiome. And so instead of spending hundreds of dollars on pills and supplements outside of my normal yogurt bowl, I decided to put the two together and create a yogurt that was designed to be really good for my gut and the equivalent of a probiotic supplement. And that is what Sourmilk is today. It's a version of that product that I was eating a couple years ago and that Kiki was subject to when we were living together in San Francisco. Mm-hmm. So yeah, excited to dive into the story.
Yeah, and I know last episode we covered a lot about Kiki's journey out of corporate and PE, private equity. Would love to just hear more about your journey out of tech and what really made you make that switch.
So there was a lot that actually went into our thought process around leaving. It feels like a crazy drastic change to go from, cushy jobs in tech and private equity into a yogurt company. But I think that the kind of three main factors that really helped decide this, really there's kind of four main factors. I call it the 4 Ps. Kiki has heard me explain this a lot. Mm-hmm. When we talk to people who are thinking about quitting their jobs, kind of always use this framework. And the 4 Ps are: number one, people. You spend more time with your coworkers, especially if you're starting a company with your co-founder, than you will with literally anyone else in the world. Kiki and I spend more time together than we do with our partners, and I live with my partner.
Yeah,
so it says a lot.
Especially waking hours.
Yeah, waking hours, yeah. And I think people should be more critical about who they surround themselves with, especially when you're starting a company. But even if you're interviewing for another place and considering to take the job, people's a really important factor. Number two is passion. And I think ultimately Kiki and I were waking up every day thinking about Sourmilk and not thinking about our other jobs and being really fired up about working on that. For me personally, I always wanted to work on the health space. And how I kind of narrowed in on that was I looked at how I was spending my free time outside of work and outside of social and outside of friends, and realized that 90% of it was spent on researching health and learning about health and running experiments on myself and kind of doing everything in the health orbit. So I knew that that's what I should align my work with.
To a crazy degree. She has done every experiment
I still do some crazy stuff. But, when you look at that free time and you see how you're spending it, it becomes really clear that should just be your thing that you do for work. Number 3 is product. And what I mean by product is really product market fit. And I think, to give you a concrete example, I could be extremely passionate about building garlic flavored gum, but if there's no market for that, then I actually can't make that my livelihood, right? I can't go full time and take the leap into this product if there isn't actually a person to sell it to. So that's really important to understand and test. And we had a lot of ways. Happy to dive into how we decided how to do that and figure that part out. And then the last one is pay. realistically, Kiki and I are not taking a single dollar out of the business for the first 2 years. And so we had to set up infrastructure so that we could like pay rent for the next 2 years and be able to afford that. So whether that was side gigs or savings or whatever that looked like, that was a serious conversation we had to think through and analyze. And basically, once I had those 4 Ps checked off, we knew that it was like time to go and we could take the leap to go full time.
All right.
That makes
We love it.
sense.
Okay, 4 Ps. Here we
4
go.
Ps, very consultant framework.
Yeah,
I know.
I was thinking of my business school days
Yeah.
of like the
Yes.
other 4 Ps. So we
Yeah,
love it. Okay.
exactly.
Yep. Well, awesome. And I'm so glad that you came on to kind of the second episode too, Elan. Well, 9 months ago, when we first interviewed Kiki, you had a different name. Kiki still is working in private equity. You hadn't officially launched. You were not in retail stores. You hadn't really settled on sort of the I'm gonna call it drop shipping strategy. So
We call
tell
it the
us-
drug deal strategy.
Okay,
We call it the drug deal
strategy. So tell us, what has it been like?
Spill all the tea.
Yeah,
all the
where have you
tea.
been? Obviously.
Yeah.
Just tell us what it's been. Yeah.
Yeah, we
Give
can
us an
start.
update.
Why don't we start with the name? Because I think
Okay.
that's like the first and foremost. So we had a different name when we were here, when I was here in December of last year, whatever that was, 10 months ago. And we actually had to go through a name change in April of this year. So sort of like 5 months after we'd already been building in public, we'd already been sort of giving this brand a name and a life. We got hit with a cease and desist and we had to change our name. Ultimately, it was definitely for the better for both brands, just being able to sort of continue to build our own brand equity outside of having to share that with anybody else. But obviously, it was also devastating. Like, we had totally built this thing and people knew us and it felt like, oh my gosh, the floor is being ripped out from under us and we have to start over again. But also we then thought about it as an opportunity. Like this brand had been living in the world before we actually knew what this yogurt space looked like, who our community was, who our customers were, what the product really was. And so we got to take a whole new look at naming our company, which I think a lot of people don't get to do, right? It's like as if you had a 2-year-old toddler and they now have a personality and you get to rename them based on what their personality is, what really suits them. So we really had this cool opportunity to do that. And of course, we made it sort of a social media moment too.
I remember I voted.
Yeah, because why not take advantage of that? And so, we took to Instagram, to TikTok, to LinkedIn, to all the socials and just said, okay, we have 2 weeks to change our name. Here's why. Help us because we need to start from scratch. And it was truly all we could think about for 2 weeks.
Oh, God. I remember pacing back and forth
God,
in my
it was
apartment
awful.
every single night,
Yes.
trying to come.
Sending 5-minute long voice notes to each other all the time. We couldn't walk down the street in New York without understanding why is this called this? Why is, Pizza Hut called Pizza Hut? And why is Sunglass? It's like,
And what are the trade-offs
my
associated
gosh.
with those names?
so we were going insane. But
Yeah, no, I
yes,
can imagine.
Truly. But ultimately, it was like a galvanizing point, right? Like it really helped galvanize followers around us, community around us. Like we're rooting for you in this point of adversity. And then it also made us really clear on what we wanted from this name. So I think Sourmilk was something that came out of a few things. Number one was we wanted this name to mean something. So we wanted there to be a meaning. We didn't want it to just be pull this cute name, this good sounding name out of thin air, right? Sourmilk to us, we're milk based, right? We're a dairy product and we get asked all the time, is this non-dairy? And which is a crazy question because it's called sour milk. And so I think that was part of it is we're squarely in dairy, but also we want you to be reminded that yogurt is fermented and alive, right? There is something that can be sort of irreverent with sour, but also that's what it is. It's fermented, right? And then number 2 was we need it to be easy to pronounce and say. There's a lot of yogurts on the yogurt aisle that are phage. People say that all the time. I'm like, I think it's Faye. I think it's Faye.
I eat the one with the blue top and the purple writing.
Or there's not actually a brand recognition. And so we wanted there to be an easy association with the name. And then third, and I think most important, is the stop the scroll effect. And I think that is something that we've really understood to be necessary in this category when we're up against commodities, when we're up against the blue yogurt or the white yogurt or the yogurt that's on sale. That's the one that I buy every day, right? And so we need to be able to stop you in the aisle enough So that way, instead of going to your normal habit, you see sour milk, you pick it up off the shelf because you're like, whoa, that's weird. And you flip it over and you understand what we are and that we're different and we're a daily probiotic supplement and we're organic and we're Greek and we're high protein and all these things that you would never understand if we weren't able to grab your attention. And with that, we also get the memorability effect where there's that like uncomfortable sour milk kind of gut punch with it, which then obviously imprints the name in your head as well.
Do you think the brand identity changed with the name change? I know the product
Great
you're
question.
doing a lot of like different recipes and changing of the product itself, but what do you think happened with the change?
We actually tried as much as possible to not shift the brand identity drastically because we had built up a decent amount of brand equity with all of our follower base and they were following us for authenticity. Honestly, that was like our biggest thing. And so we had a couple silly AI images that we posted with sour milk, but for the most part, we stayed kind of true to where the direction we were going before.
Yeah, but I would also say that we were able to reach a broader audience because of it too. Like I think that there are so many people who have found us because of this name change. Like they didn't even know we had a different name before. They're just like, oh, you guys are sour milk. And I think that there's like a broader attraction. And I think something we think about is like, you know, we can talk about social media, whatever that is, but like riding as many waves of momentum as possible that can create excitement and that can create this, you know, upward energy has been really beneficial for us. And I think the name in itself has done that. And so even if it hasn't shifted the identity of the brand, it's definitely like expanded it and brought more people under the hood too.
Yeah. And I noticed you kept the coloring, the font.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Which like, you know, evokes a very like Greek vibe,
Totally.
right? It feels like Mamma Mia or something.
Yes,
That's, like,
I love
how
that.
I like always saw
Like
it.
an evil eye almost.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
evil
like
eye.
it
The
feels
blue-
like that.
the
It feels
blue
like
and
Greece. Feels like
Yes.
Mykonos, whatever.
And
Like,
you could take sour milk like a liquid death, or you could take sour milk like a cute, like blue, like what we're doing with
Yeah.
it. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah,
think
for
that
sure.
there's like, we're definitely trying to stay true to that too.
yeah, which I love.
Yeah.
Was there a moment for you when you had to change your name that you like regretted building in public because you were like, fuck, like you're like, I was like, if like no one would have known.
Shoot.
Well, honestly, like the actual process of having to change the name and sharing that was like kind of a viral moment for us.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I feel like across all platforms,
Yeah.
we gained a ton of
So
followers
much
when
from
we were
that.
like, hey,
Yeah.
we got a cease and desist, we have to change our name. And the other benefit was that we got this cease and desist like 2 days before we were going to order our packaging. When you order
Wow,
packaging in
that's
CPG,
crazy.
it's like 100,000 units of that packaging.
Yeah, it's like you
Yeah.
cannot.
It would be,
It was
we would have been
insane.
so we were like,
Yeah.
oh shit, we have to figure this out now.
stop
We had to,
immediately.
so we had to
Yeah.
pull the plug on that, and so that was beneficial because basically the only thing we had to update was our handles and our domain.
Yeah.
So that was it. And I remember like after we decided we wanted to do sour milk, we immediately looked up the domain and it was like for sale.
Yeah.
And it was like the day before we were going to launch, I was on calls back and
crazy,
forth
Elan.
negotiating with this random man who owned the sour milk domain. And like I was like, I will send you the money right now for like it was just such a crazy, chaotic time.
It was, I honestly forgot about that time.
Yeah, it was
like
crazy.
posting the video of the announcement, because that's the other thing is like, I don't think I ever regretted it, you know, building in public for that reason. But the time that I was most nervous was not when we said we had to change our name, but it was when we had to reveal the new name. Because you have no idea.
You don't know what the
reactions.
reaction's going to be.
And it is edgy. I mean,
It is, and
like,
it's very
an
different
edgy
from our old
choice.
name. So it's very, yeah.
At the same time, we built up so much hype
I
around this
know.
name
Yeah,
change that we were
we
like,
did.
if it was like Lenny, like
That was so lame, right? Like, it's so bad.
like, and the name is Lenny.
Like Yogi.
Yeah, literally bad.
No,
right?
we had to do
Yeah.
something that was like gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
I remember I was like waiting for it. I was like at work. I was like, what is it? And all my
Refresh.
coworkers like, oh my gosh, it's sour milk. I was
Right.
like, that's insane. Like, I was not
I
expecting
did
it at
not
all.
see that coming.
No, we
Definitely
always
shock
like
factor.
reaction. Yeah,
Definitely
I
shock
was like, what?
factor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love that.
Awesome. Okay,
Yeah.
so then you officially launched a sour milk in
Yes.
April, I guess.
We did.
So tell us about your first drop.
Yes.
What was that like?
Oh yeah. So the drop model, the drug deal model, what we call it, really came from a problem we were trying to solve. So the problem we were trying to solve was our product's ready. We know it's really good. We've gotten a lot of good feedback on it, but our packaging takes 3 months to figure out. We have to get a nutrition label. We have to get the designs. We have to do all of this kind of stuff. And distributors and retailers also take a long time, right? Because they want to see data before you sign on to them, and they take huge percentages of your margin. And so there was all these complexities with having our debut to the world being through retail. And we really just wanted to get our product into the hands of customers. And so when we took a step back and we're like, okay, what's the fastest, easiest way to get our product into the hands of customers? It's to do it ourselves. And so what that meant was we ordered blank cups from our packaging supplier. We're just, hey, just send us blanks. Like, we don't want them to be printed, which they have, like, backstock. And so they sent us blanks. We did our first production run up at the factory, filled all the blank cups, sent them down to the city, and then hand stickered. I think our first drop was 1,200 containers of yogurt. So we hand stickered 1,200 yogurts.
Oh, wow.
And then sold them all by hand, basically on city bikes. And we sold it all in 7 days. We thought this yogurt was going to last us like a month. We were like, great, all summer, we're going to have yogurt.
Yeah.
We can do all this stuff. It was 7 days and it
Wow.
was gone.
Wow.
And just kind of manually. And it was incredible. We got all these other benefits from it. Obviously, it's like the speed. We made that yogurt 7 days ago and it's in the hands of customers within that week. But also meeting our customers face to face is just game changing. Like, there's a world of a difference seeing a product in the store for the first time and being like, I met the founders of that company and I've been eating that yogurt all summer, versus like seeing a product for the first time and being like, what is that? I've never seen it before. And so we've kind of built up a bunch of evangelists basically over the course of the summer by doing this drop model.
And we're still doing it. Like, we've been doing that over 2 months. We've sold 6,000 yogurts that way. And I just came from a drop. So we're still doing it to this day. And again, I think it's like, everyone's like, oh, it's not scalable. It's not scalable. But that's the whole point, right? Like, the whole point is to do the unscalable things right now to create that cult following and that amazing experience and that sort of two-way touch with your customers for your first 30, 50, 100, 300, 1,000 customers before you look beyond, because you really need those people to then go tell their friends and their friends and their friends and their friends. And that's how you start to build a real company.
I think you really built a strong brand identity. I know you have your blue backpack. You're always city biking around, and that is such a look.
Oh my gosh,
Today we're in the car. Oh my god, we were driving in the car today. Kiki and I were like debriefing something, and this girl like walks across the crosswalk in front of us, and she like makes eye contact. And
We're
she
both
goes,
wearing Sourmilk
We're
tank
both wearing
tops.
Sourmilk, and she goes, yogurt,
and then
and
runs
we were
across the
like,
street. We're like, what? That's so funny.
we like never seen this girl, like just a
Never.
random stranger, and she just points at us and goes, yogurt,
And
and
then
we were like,
that's
I know,
us.
I know. Someone was like, don't be offended, but are you the yogurt girl? I'm like, I'm not offended. I love that. That's amazing.
No, I love that. And like, I guess looking forward, short term, long term, are you gonna continue with this dropship strategy? What is in the books?
Yeah. I think there will always be like a lane that looks something like this drug deal model. So, you know, we want to have some sort of close touch to customers in some way. Moving forward, we definitely are looking into retail. So we'll be in our first grocery store in early November. We're going to be in Happier Grocery. So go check us out there. Yes, we're very, very excited. And then we're going to slowly start to sort of, again, roll out into different stores here in New York City. Just trying to focus on the city for right now, as this is where we've built our loyal customer base, and honestly trying to parlay our drug deal model into different neighborhoods. So like, hey, I was just in the West Village doing a drop there. Is there somewhere there that now all those customers, all those regulars can go to? That's not maybe me sitting on the street corner, but that's actually a store. And so we're trying to be strategic about where we actually sort of land our next stores after that. And so that's really our next focus. And then, of course, beyond, you know, we want to expand into retail beyond, because that is where people get yogurt. And, you know, our North Star is how do we make the biggest impact on people's health? And we need to be as easy and accessible to get if that's the case. And most people buy yogurt at the grocery store and not on a street corner.
on a street corner.
Coffee shops too.
Coffee shops,
Right.
exactly. So that's
Still
also,
one.
maybe you'll see us at your local coffee shop.
Amazing. And obviously, I mean, being a CPG founder already has enough challenges. You guys add another one that it's dairy and yogurt and doesn't have a shelf life and it's difficult.
It's refrigerated, all the
how,
things,
how have you managed that while also sort of, I mean, it works well in these small batches, in all honesty. How do you kind of see yourself growing while you're going into retail, being able to manage that, the manufacturing, the shipping, while also maybe also maintaining some of these dropship models that have become really special to you guys?
I mean, I think that the good thing and bad thing, of course, is like there's all of these constraints, and yet we've seen a lot of other brands within the refrigerated aisle be able to do this and tackle this, particularly yogurt. I think it's cool to sort of have other brands being able to break out and actually create market for us. I think rising tides lifts all boats. And so right now we are like a 2-woman show where we're actually biking around with our Hydro Flask blue backpacks and delivering yogurt. You know, come January, February, March, come next year, that will likely not be the case, and we'll be working with the distributor, and it'll be much more scaled, and they have the infrastructure to have, you know, refrigerated trucks and be shipping and doing all those things. And so, you know, the good thing is there is the like logistic infrastructure that we will have to figure out what works for us to plug into, but that's one thing. I think on the second point of like, how do we maintain this intimacy in these drop models? We're figuring that out. Like Elan and I are piloting a delivery program this week.
Very cool.
Where we are going to turn ourselves into, you know, door dashers
Yeah.
for 4 days, and run around the city. And, you know, currently we are in city bikes, but we stop at a location and we're there for an hour. That's how the drug deal model works. Now it will be, sorry that we keep saying
No, it's
that,
hilarious.
but it's
It
just
also
like,
makes
it
me
makes,
crack up.
it's like,
It just
so
is what
funny.
it is.
It's so funny.
but like, hey, the other thing is we would love to pilot a delivery model, and it's refrigerated, right? So go back to all these constraints of our product. My product, sour milk, cannot sit on your doorstep for 6 hours while you're at work. It can sit for like 3.5, 4 hours, but not a full work day. And so will this delivery model work is something that we're sort of toying with, is can we keep that intimacy of that door to door, but also make sure you're home and it can get right into your fridge, and what does that look like? And so all of these are all questions that we also have, and we're just trying to sort of create small little tests to actually understand and get more information, to see like where we can move into or away from, or yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And Happier Grocery, I guess, feels like a nice mid-step where, like, it's a specialty retailer,
Totally.
right? It's smaller, it's batch-driven, it's only in New York, so it's probably easy for manufacturers. So that feels good. But as you guys continue to grow, I mean, obviously you're going volume first, I'm assuming, but are you also looking at product mix, diversity? Are there customers that are asking for things you would like to
Yeah.
fulfill? Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, I think our thesis overall is in the gut health space, and there's a lot of products that are really well suited for that. So we start with yogurt because yogurt is an incredibly good vehicle for getting a lot of probiotics, and 92% of American households consume yogurt. So it's a really easy way for us to meet people where they are in their diets. I think we're seeing a ton of trends in like cottage cheese and protein and all of these other products that sit within both dairy and potential probiotic products. And so we're definitely like exploring and thinking about
And
different
also
types of things.
flavors.
Of
for
course,
sure.
flavors,
For
yeah.
sure, those will come first, I think. Within this
Yeah,
space.
flavored yogurts I think will
Yeah.
open up. Right now, a lot of our target demographic consumes plain yogurt. Like, I don't know if you guys are yogurt eaters, but a lot of the people who buy yogurt from us buy a plain yogurt and then they put their own stuff on it,
Yeah.
because you can control the sugar and the
For sure.
toppings. And so I think that's the vast majority of our target. But once we do flavors, it opens up a whole other target demographic who likes to buy a ready-made yogurt that has all the mix-ins in it already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Well, so we're like thinking about different form factors too. I mean, everybody wants like something on the go these days, right? Like people are like
The squeeze
the
bag.
squeeze
Go-go
bag,
squeeze.
the modern go-gurt, the adult
Yeah.
yogurt.
Totally.
Like, what does that look like? So
Yeah.
that's also fun to think about. And I think there's like what most consumers don't think about is there's the very real constraints of what your factory is able to do. And so, we don't own a factory. We work with a co-manufacturer, and so they have specific machinery that can fill our yogurt into specific size cups. And so we're also thinking about that too, right? Like of like where can we expand? That makes sense.
For sure. And there's a lot of like partnerships in that specialty space.
course.
Gyms, wellness.
Oh yes.
I think like Equinox Cafe,
Mhm.
Juice
All
Press, that
those
feels all
places.
very, you. And also a lot less challenging than large scale retail. Also may or may not fit your brand, which feels also a little bit more niche.
Totally.
Right.
No, I think it's great. I think all those smaller doors, we've talked about this. It's like, we're in Happier Grocery, but also we're in all these different coffee shops. It's not the same like retail launch, but you can find us in all these other places
And
as
we've
well.
we've done a lot of fitness partnerships. It's super like we've partnered with Solid Core, we've partnered with SoulCycle, we've partnered with CrossFit, we've partnered with like a bunch of yoga studios,
all these places.
Yeah, and so I think that we've found that really resonates with the
really
fitness
does.
community.
Something that's really been exciting to watch in your journey is all these partnerships. So like the Hamptons, like SoulCycle pop up. You're in jeans now,
Totally,
which is really awesome.
It's really fun.
What's been your favorite partnership, and how did you kind of land that? You also don't have to like discriminate.
No, I know. I'm just thinking about it.
We've loved all of them.
We've loved them all.
They've all been amazing. I think that
choose favorites.
our like from at least like our founder standpoint, I think our partnership with SoulCycle in the Hamptons was like a step functional partnership for us.
Yeah.
And the reason why is Kiki posts a lot on social media, and you know, I post on LinkedIn and whatnot, but generally the things that we post attract an audience that is us. It's like people in their 20s who are like working corporate and are younger, and like, yes, we have disposable income, but like we're a bit younger. Our product is also extremely well suited for like older women and older men who are like well past our demographic and probably aren't going to see the TikToks and reels that we're posting today, but have like a real need and a use case for a product like this. And so partnering with brands like SoulCycle, who's like, that's their target audience. Like the people who go to the Hampton SoulCycle are like an older female demographic who are like well out of their careers, but really deeply care about health and like are willing to pay a premium for a product that does incredible health benefits for them. And so doing those types of partnerships really open doors for us to actually reach those customers in a way that we maybe aren't organically reaching them on our own social media. So I think that was like a pretty step functional benefit.
Yeah, and I think the way that we landed that also just shows that building in public and getting the word out about whatever you're building, people want to help. Like we were at another event at Versi, which is like a co-working space here, and Superpower which is a health blood testing platform. Yeah. Anyway, they were doing an event there. They were doing a talk, and we just partnered with a chef who was like catering a breakfast there, and we had some of our yogurt on it, and we met the people from Superpower, and we became, friends with them and continued a rapport and like continued connecting. And this was maybe in April. Maybe we were still with our old name, honestly, March or April. So it was really a while ago, and we didn't even have product. We weren't even manufacturing at our co-man. Like it was really out of our house, not legal, but that's okay. And like 1 month later, the head of partnerships, Albie, he reached out to us and he said, hey, there's this opportunity with SoulCycle. They're looking for a food partner. And I just thought of you guys. Like, obviously, your yogurt would be amazing. It suits the mission. And I think this is the perfect target demographic. It's in the Hamptons in like a month. And there's going to be like 2,000 people there. And we said yes. We had no manufacturer at this point. We had no product. We did not have insurance. We
didn't even have a way to get the product.
Literally
anywhere.
no way. We had nothing. We were like, oh my God, are we gonna
we'll be there.
We're like, for sure we're gonna be there. I get on the call with the head of partnerships at SoulCycle, and she's in Austin, and she's listing off the rest of the companies that are gonna be there. It's like Hyper Ice, which is like in every single Equinox, and they're crazy. It's like all these huge big brands, and she's like, can you send me product to Austin, Texas? And I was like, oh my God, no, we don't even have product. Like we literally don't even have a factory. I can't even do that. But I was like, oh, we just like don't ship because of refrigeration, right? So,
which is also true.
Which is true, everybody, that is true, but still. And she still took a chance on us. So thank you, Namita. That was like, just sort of an amazing, like Elan said, like a step function for us. And then we figured it out. Things fall into place. I think that's something we've learned.
Yeah, set a deadline.
Set a deadline. You will figure it out if you set a deadline. So by end of June, we had done our first production run. We'd figured out a way to get all the product there and had a really cute setup. So yeah.
How much that's amazing, by the way. Congratulations. Incredible.
Thank you.
But in terms of customer acquisition, how much customer education do you think you have to do around kind of what's Sourmilk's benefits? Are you more taking market share from people who eat yogurt already? Are you actually introducing a new customer that maybe doesn't eat yogurt but has gut issues? Are you doing both?
I think it's a whole mix. We have a big benefit because a lot of people eat yogurt.
Yeah.
Which means when we walk into a room and say we have a yogurt company, everyone's like, I love yogurt. Like, it's very easy for us to quote unquote sell. I think the hook that, like, we almost see people's faces change when we say, like, we're doing this because we want you to be able to eat the food you want to eat and get the health benefits that your body needs. And it's sort of this, like, click moment that's like, oh, you're not trying to sell me another pill or powder or thing I put in my water or scoop of something fizzy. Like, you're just trying to let me eat the thing that I already want to eat and have it be really good for me. And I think that click moment is like a high conversion for them to, like, oh, okay, I get what you guys are doing and I get why this is special and, like, I want to buy some.
And, like, by the way, so many people eat our yogurt because they just think it tastes so much better than anything else on the shelf. And so for that reason, yes, we're taking market share away from, you know, a lot of other Greek yogurt brands. And so we have folks who come back, like, week after week because they just love the taste of our yogurt. And then we have people who haven't pooped in 3 months. And then they come back and now they're regular and they are experiencing actual tangible health benefits as well. And you know, the yogurt also tastes good, but the main reason for their customer retention there is because of actually the benefits that they're feeling. So it's both. And I think we can do better with education always. Like, I think there's always a gap and I don't think we say it enough. And so there's plenty of people who love the taste of our yogurt and don't actually know, right, that there's like a higher probiotic value there. So it's something that we're thinking about too, is like, how do we make sure that that's always drilled into people's minds?
And the idea is that you would replace your whatever probiotic pill that you're taking now with this yogurt that you're having for breakfast. Anyway.
Exactly. It's
and on top of that, I think a lot of people don't take probiotics.
Right.
And so if we really our goal is for you to feel 100% good every single day. And we think that it starts with your microbiome. And so maybe you're not even thinking about probiotics at all, but you start eating a different yogurt and all of a sudden you like are regular and you don't have brain fog when you wake up in the morning and you're not bloated every single time after you eat. And like, that's a real win for us.
Yeah. I think that's a really good point too. It's like, okay, most Americans have gut issues. It's actually incredibly important because it can lead to a lot of chronic illnesses. 70% of your immune system lives in your gut. 90% of your serotonin is produced there. So it's incredibly responsible for so many functioning of your body, high functioning of your body. And so becoming aware, like, part of that is we want all the consumers to become aware that this is a thing. And you can't just heal your gut by eating, as much as we want to just like eat great fruits and vegetables. We drink alcohol, we eat sugar, we're sedentary, we take antibiotics, and it's actually like different living organisms that are in our bodies, and so we need to reintroduce them into our bodies. So you either need to take a supplement or you can have a yogurt that has this already living in it.
Makes sense.
That's incredible. And obviously I think you guys, your mission is really health-based. Mm-hmm. Even though you have very much of a consumer brand identity. So how do you sort of balance that? I mean, I think about all the different ways you guys are going to expand, all the different ideas. I sort of think about like sort of the health path too, of like partnering with hospitals or like using this as a basis for people with chronic illnesses or maybe who have cancer or are, you know, I don't know, not able to eat solid food, or babies or children or pregnant women. How do you kind of look at all these different roads and like, decide and like how also kind of balance that with who you are as a company?
I think our thesis has always been we have to meet people where they are and their habits in order to actually get them to make a change or to introduce something that's really good for them. And what that means for us is like, if we're going to meet people where they are, we actually have to like reach them. And I think you do that by being like a really fun, playful, engaging, interesting consumer brand, not by being like a very sterile, like health focus, X, Y, and Z, you should take this or else you're going to be scared and be bloated every day. Like, you know what I mean? So we actually, when we first were thinking about brand design, we thought about that. We were like, there's sort of two directions we can take this. We can be extremely playful and fun and lean into the fact that we're, you know, in our 20s, two females entering a dairy product that's historically a lot older and run by men, and like really lean into this being like coming from us. Or we can go this other direction that's more like an AG1 or a seed or a Z-biotics. That's like really clinical almost. That's like, here's the data. Here's why you should take this. Here's X, Y, and Z. And I think what we ultimately came down to was that we'll be able to reach so many more people if we're just like a sick consumer brand that tastes amazing and just so happens to be incredibly good for you. So we want people to take this product because it makes it, or eat this product because it makes them feel good, but it also just be something that you want to eat in the morning. And so we really wanted to reach that like mass audience in that way.
That's amazing. And for like sour milk to have an effect, do you have to eat it every day, or is it like you eat it 5 times, it has a positive effect?
Yeah.
Can you eat it once and it has a positive
We
effect?
get asked that a lot.
Yeah.
I think it basically sort of depends on where your microbiome is right now.
Yeah.
So if you have a really, for lack of a better word, like fucked up gut, which like a lot of people do.
A lot of people do. Tell
women
me.
do.
Why do-
Oh
yeah.
my
People
God.
do. For
Yeah.
what it's
Crazy
worth,
amounts.
it is extremely hard to have a good gut health and a good microbiome in America. Like it is,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
not set up for success here. Like,
Yeah.
I had a ton of gut health issues, and I was like a D1 athlete and took a ton of care of my body, and I still had gut health issues. So it is not an easy thing to have a healthy gut in America. So if you take someone like on this end of the spectrum who's dealing with a lot of stuff, they might feel things like pretty immediately. Like they might have like one sour milk bowl and like be like, oh wow, like this, I feel something going on here, which is great, and that like it's sort of readjusting and flushing out the bad stuff and hopefully introducing some good stuff. And then if you have someone on the other end of the spectrum who has like a pretty well balanced microbiome, they might not feel that like anything. It might just be like continuing their microbiome diversity, introducing new bacteria, and maybe it helps them not get sick in the next 6 months and they otherwise would have, stuff like that. And then there's obviously everything in between that. So it sort of depends on where you start at.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I guess switching gears a little bit, I know you guys have built this incredible following, and Kiki, you've been building in public, and I think you're one of the first founders that have kind of really talked about your founder journey through social media platforms like TikTok and Instagram. And I see a lot more founders in the past year kind of following your lead and what you've kind of built in terms of marketing. So how has that been like? And I know you don't, or now you probably think yourself as a content creator, but what was that kind of journey for you? How are you approaching it differently now versus, let's say, 6 months ago or a year ago?
Yeah, I think there's like been so many ebbs and flows or like mini crash outs along the way, kind of. But yeah, I mean, I am now I can say like, yes, I'm a content creator. I think talked to me 3 months ago and I was cringing. I like hate that. I literally hated that word. Or influencer. Never call me an influencer.
Micro-influencer.
Literally.
Which is
nano
even
influencer. I'm like awful. Literally awful.
Hey, influencers influence people, and you're influencing people to eat your yogurt and
Yes.
have healthy gut.
Exactly.
So you can take a positive interpretation of the word influencer.
Exactly. I think that's always what I come back to is like,
Yeah.
why am I doing this? I'm not doing this because I just am playing on the attention economy so I myself can become a bigger phenomenon, right? Or like launch myself into the public eye. It's like I'm doing this because I deeply care about sour milk being successful because I want as many people to be impacted by it as possible. And how do we do this? Actually, Couchwoman is my personal handle. Couchwoman is a really good, and again, I say it in a third party, Couchwoman's a really good top of funnel for this, right? Like this account can attract so many people who never thought they maybe were interested in yogurt. They actually just wanted to quit their jobs, and now they're realizing, yeah, I also eat yogurt every single day. I should think about this thing and I should care about this thing, or vice versa, whatever it might be. There's a lot more room for myself on my personal account to sort of have latitude to talk about as many things as I want. And so I think that's been really positive for sour milk. I think the personal part has been really different, where obviously I never expected to like have some sort of public persona, like we get recognized on the street, so I'm like, oh my god, I cannot be wearing my sweats on the street anymore. But also it's made me really critical about what I share online, right? Like who am I online? Who is Couchwoman? And I do say that intentionally because there's Kiki and then there's Couchwoman, and Couchwoman is an account where at first I over-rotated to sharing everything. I shared so much, and I mean everything about like my personal life and sour milk and what I like to do in my free time and and then I realized, okay, that's too much, right? Like I'm fully at capacity and now everyone knows everything about me. Okay, I need to rein it in, and Couchwoman is only for the founder of a yogurt company. So that's all you're gonna see, is you're just gonna see the journey of that. And then it felt really sterile, honestly, and a little bit like inauthentic because I felt like I was being withdrawn to some extent, and it felt like LinkedIn, honestly, in a different way. And I don't like LinkedIn. Elan kills it on LinkedIn. I do not like LinkedIn. And so then this past quarter has been another shift where I'm like, actually, there's room for some of Kiki's personal life in Couchwoman, but maybe not everything, right? Like, not everybody needs to know, you know, who my boyfriend is, and not everyone needs to know I'm from, you know, this small town in California and this is what my parents do. But maybe my sister's on there all the time because she's a big part of my life and she would love to be in the spotlight about that, right? So there's things where I feel comfortable sharing now, where I feel like I've found a happy medium of like letting people in.
Yeah.
And it's this weird parasocial relationship too, which I think that's
And that makes sense because also you have the Sourmilk account where you post about Sourmilk itself, but like your account, and I follow you also, so it's good to see from like all sides.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's also been helpful for me is like, now that we have product in the world, Sourmilk has its own, you know, Instagram account and social media page, and like we have unique things that we bring just to Sourmilk, and it's made me really define what is Couchwoman's unique perspective, because that's actually a little bit different, right? Like, Couchwoman's unique perspective is my reflections on this past year, and like somebody who follows the yogurt account maybe does not care about my birthday, my 27th birthday, and my reflections from this past year, right? But somebody who follows the founder like might really want to know that, and it can be relevant across being a founder of a yogurt company or being a founder of a, you know, high growth SaaS company. So I think that's also part of it.
And how do you kind of divide what you guys tackle every day? I know, Kiki, you're probably more in the marketing side. Is there like a delineation of responsibilities, or does it kind of come as things, you know, come your way?
I think the short answer is we both do everything.
Yeah.
Like, we literally are constantly both. And I think that that's super important at this stage for either of us to be able to jump in on any part of the company and like know wholeheartedly that the other person can handle it. I think that's super important. The like high level big picture is that like I do a lot of like product stuff and Kiki does a lot of marketing stuff. But the intertwining,
it's like supply and demand.
Yeah,
essentially.
The intertwining of those is like very glad. Like, we're at the factory, like we're both on the floor at the factory. Like, when we're doing stuff like this, like we both like to do stuff like this. So
totally. And I think it actually just makes us so much stronger. Like, we agreed early on that we both want to do everything together for as long as possible, even if it feels duplicative, because we both can be dangerous in all parts of the business. So like Elan said, we can trust each other when one person needs to step out, but also like it's incredibly important as a leader, no matter what function you're in, that you can speak to all things. And so, and particularly as founders. And so that's something that we've been very intentional about, is maybe the small decisions we can make on our own, but anything that has any real consequence, we're always on the phone with each other, running it by each other, all of those things.
And I know you guys are best friends,
Oh,
which is so fun because you're with each other all the time. We're best friends. It's been so fun doing Women's Explain. What's been your favorite thing about, you know, founding a company with your best friend? And what's, you know, something that drives each other crazy, or something you didn't notice before?
What's your favorite part?
you have one that you always say, so I won't steal it from you. I won't steal it from you. I'll let you say that one. I think one of my favorite things is that we have this sort of like deep-rooted love for each other, for lack of a better word.
Everyone asks if we're dating.
Everyone's like, are you
Sisters.
sisters? Are you twins? Or are you dating? There's no other option.
And we're like,
but those things.
Either.
Like, we're kind of married.
In some ways, we're kind of
Contractual agreement
For
here.
sure.
For sure, yeah.
But I think because our relationship has been founded on friendship, like, no matter what, our friendship comes first. Like, when we're catching up over a weekend or, like, whatever happened last night, it's like, what did you have for dinner last night? What was your Aura sleep score? Like, what's your activity goal today?
Every morning.
Like, every day. It's our relationship is founded on being friends. And I think that is a superpower in some ways for us, because if we have feedback, like, hey, like, I noticed you said something at a meeting and, like, I kind of think we should say it this way, like, it comes out of love. There's no just, like, competitiveness or, like, this person thinks they're better. It's, like, genuinely our entire relationship is built on this, like, trust and friendship. And I think that's been, like, very powerful for us.
Yeah. It makes me want to start a company with a lot of people that I love, because I feel like I've gotten to know a different side of Elan that I would never have seen if we'd never done this together. And I think it's really unique. Like you never get to see your friends in a work environment, or your partner or your siblings or your parents, like any of those people that are close to you. And so getting to be able to experience Elan as a coworker and also somebody who's like in the world creating value and product and all those things, it's just like you get to reach a different edge in your relationship, and see a different edge as a person. So literally my boyfriend and I were talking the other day, we're like, what would we start together? Because this would be really fun. But I think it's like such a testament, I think, to Elan as well, of we can do this and it can be an amazing experience and not one where, it goes poorly. Which I don't know.
We wouldn't do it with a lot of friends, I would say.
No, that's so true. We wouldn't do it with every friend. My least favorite part, Elan.
Or something that surprised you along the way.
I mean, truthfully, like, neither of us had any idea that Kiki would be an influencer. If we're being real, like, when we started this company, we were like, we're going to have to post.
Like,
and
who's
like,
it gonna be?
Who's it gonna be? Like, I was in the crypto space before this, and
She was like kind of an
4.5 years.
influencer.
And I like became like a mini influencer in crypto. I was like, big on crypto Twitter and did all these podcasts and events and but Kiki made, I remember it was while we were still at our full-time jobs. We were like, let's just like tinker around and post on TikTok. Like, no one watches TikTok, or none of our friends watch
TikTok.
Sorry,
Like,
a
our
lot of
accounts,
people
they
use
don't.
TikTok. None of our friends watch it, so it felt like a safe place to like experiment on. And so we were both kind of like making videos, and like Kiki put together her first video, and everyone's like, you're gonna need to post on social media every single day, and the first 100 posts are gonna be nothing, and maybe one of those it will like get 2,000 views, and like that would be sick, right? And so we kind of had this expectation of like this is gonna be like sludge for us for probably a very long time before we get any traction. Kiki put together her first video. It was like a day in my life, working in private equity and starting this yogurt company, and immediately gets like 500,000 views, and we were like, oh shit. Like,
We found the hook. Like, oh shit.
we were like, you're gonna be the influencer. You're like, it came immediately.
Do you remember the videos that you
Yeah,
were sending me?
I would like put together some videos, and Kiki was like, you can't post that.
I was like, you seem constipated in that video. I don't know what is going on.
So that was like a very funny thing. Like, it wasn't
that's
like
fair.
Kiki was an influencer before this, and then we started this company. It was like, by nature of building this, it sort of gained a snowball effect and traction. And I think that's been like a very fun thing for us.
Yeah.
Well, it makes the company so authentic and the whole journey.
It is.
It does. I mean, I'm grateful. I'm like, I got so lucky that like
It could have been you on.
It could have
It could have been you.
Could have,
But it's
she-
true.
she
Like,
didn't.
if it wasn't authentic, I would not be able to do it every day.
No.
At all. It's funny how it evolves, but I'm like, oh yeah, now picking up the phone and like posting on my story, it's like I'm on FaceTime with a friend, which sounds so cringy and crazy to say out loud, but it's true. And that's like truly how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the Sourmilk customers are your friends.
They are.
Obviously.
They
You've
honestly
met so many
are.
of them in
We've made a
person.
lot of
I
new
will say that
friends.
must add something to it.
Oh, it's incredible.
You're like I will say, I mean, unlike a lot of social media platforms, you are using it to foster an in-person connection. So
Yes.
that's interesting.
It's
And
the amount of like networking that happens at our drug deal drops is crazy,
Yeah, I'm
guys.
sure.
Literally.
We're
I like
convinced
can't with the
that
drug deal name. I feel like we gotta change it. I don't know. I feel like I'm just imagining The Wire and like literally thinking about
No,
The Wire.
not that.
Kiki rolling up in Baltimore.
Not that. But literally
have this,
yesterday I
like-
was in Fort Greene, and this like, there was this girl who came up and she was like, oh my gosh, I am starting this new company and I'm so inspired by you, and we're looking to expand the team and it's been going great, but I need someone who's an AI engineer. A guy who just bought yogurt was there, and he's like, I just sold my company. I'm an AI researcher.
No
and they
way.
exchanged numbers, and now they're
my
going to
God.
coffee to talk about
Wow.
that.
That's
Yes.
insane.
You need a cut of that.
Right? Well,
You
here's
gotta-
my referral
bonus
bonus.
right now.
Literally.
They have to like that company needs to buy like a year's supply.
Yes,
Yeah.
they
Like,
do.
Right?
Stock their office.
Right?
I know.
That's
Yes, stock
amazing.
the offices.
That's
Yeah.
incredible.
Well,
This
has been so fun having you guys on again. I feel like we could talk for hours. But I guess one last question to leave our listeners with. What is one piece of advice that you would give to a young person who wants to start their own company?
I think one of my favorite quotes that I tend to live by now is, there are no solutions, there are only trade-offs. I think especially as a founder, you can bang your head against the wall trying to find the perfect solution. But as soon as you recognize that like there will always be trade-offs in every decision that you make and any solution that you choose, it becomes really freeing in terms of assessing that solution.
Very deep.
Yeah,
Very
very
thoughtful.
deep.
Love
It's my
that.
favorite quote.
I love it. I'm glad. What is mine? I think that use the fact that you've never done something before to your advantage. And I think we have seen that tremendously. Sorry, I'm going to say it again, Brooke. The drug deal model.
No, I'm kidding. Go for it. This is hilarious.
So much advice that we get, particularly in consumer and particularly within a refrigerated shelf, with a shelf life, all these things is like, here are the steps to follow. You go to a co-man, you make sure you have your distributor lined up, you make sure you have all your retail stores, you go, hound the doors of all the buyers, and then you do your first run and you go straight into retail. And there's like this A to B to C to D way to do something. And I think we had the benefit of coming into this without any of those sort of preconceived notions of how you launch a product. And we decided, no, actually, we're just going to go from A to D and go straight from our manufacturer to our customer. And we don't need all those in between steps. And we had sort of no idea that this was a totally different way to do it. And we just came at the problem in a much more creative solution. And I think that has been a huge superpower for us, is just sort of saying, we don't need to follow the status quo. Let's just find a better way to do things that works for us and our brand.
I love that. Well, this has been amazing. So excited for you guys to grow. Can't wait to see the future. So you guys will be Happier Grocery in November, right? Where else can we find you? Social media? Where can we buy you?
Yes, follow us at Get Sour Milk on all handles. And if you want a little bit more of a behind the scenes, then at Couchwoman. Elan also writes a bi-weekly newsletter on sort of health and gut, and it's called Gut Check. So you can subscribe on our
it's
website.
great
Very
name.
educational.
It's
I read it this morning.
Very educational. It's great.
Amazing.
It's like, less than 5-minute read, but really, really to the point and lots of good info. And then also, if you go to sourmilk.com, you can buy us and we'll see you on a local street corner.
You'll get to meet us in person.
Oh,
and
yeah.
chit chat. So.
Oh, yeah.
That's amazing.
Maybe your future founder.
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
Yeah. Me or yeah.
Well, thank you so much, everyone, for listening. Get Sour Milk. And as always, reach out to Women's Splain Pod on all socials, women'splainpod1@gmail.com. Thank you so much. And thanks, guys.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.